and then so it's gonna have to be 5 batteries inside the other part, and then may cause dizziness and but wait, that ain't
Yeah,
going in
that's a
there. No.
lot.
Oh, I'm so oh wait, oh I'm back. Oh, sorry, we on there. Hey,
We
welcome.
on.
Oh, okay. I'm saying thank you, bro. Thank you. Sorry about that. Welcome to the post up. This is Maestro, joined by the man who was the number one would have been the number one draft pick in the NBA, the NFL, the
Mm,
National Hockey League, and the
talk
Canadian
about it.
Curling League. My
Talk
dude,
about it.
the Blazer. How you doing tonight, Rick
Yes,
Blaze?
sir. What's going on, brother? How's everything? It's a crazy night. That's for damn
It's a
sure.
cr- it,
It's a
it's cr- it's
crazy
it's
night.
crazy night. And oh, by the way, speaking of crazy, how about that game? I love the. Oh no, it didn't end, did it? Well, what, Blaze? Let's gonna get right to it.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
So, of course, those who are watching saw an exciting and a fantastic game. Unfortunately, we have nothing to do with the city of Boston. Please do not send your hate mail to Rick Blaze or Maestro or Simware or the Post Up crew. We had nothing to do with Boston and what they got going on. We experienced a slight blackout for a moment in time in the fourth quarter, and then a total blackout with about 20 something seconds left in the game, fourth quarter, an exciting game that that the originators was trying to win down by one. This is crazy. I'm telling you. I'm clapping my hands like the sisters do in the hood. Crazy.
Mm, mm,
So we're gonna have to, but we gotta get a winner. So
you got
Marsh,
to,
they're gonna be
got
back
to,
on the call. Maestro, we gotta get a winner.
you got to.
So we're gonna resume this game at a later time of day. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, huh? Yeah, the leadership of the league is going to come up with a set of rules that's going to be fair to everybody. We're going to make the setting what it needs to be. So don't worry about that. We're going to hang tight with you. But let's talk about what we saw up to the point of the zombie apocalypse. Um, Man, talk about trading paint back and forth and back
Yeah,
and forth and
yeah.
back. I mean, this did not look like a 1 versus 4 game.
No, this looks like a sim world game where anything can happen, and damn it, everything and anything could happen, including a very good game about two teams that you wouldn't think would have arguably the game of the year so far.
100%. 100%. And oh, by the way, I'm just going to say this: the end game coaching, who got set when and where, and how do we keep our momentum? How do we take their momentum? How do we reset what we're doing? I mean, everything about that game, including who was and was not on the
Mm-hmm.
floor.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was like you can write 20 articles about what just happened in the second half alone.
This game, if I break it down from the start to the finish, including the very last part of the blackout, I could sell a movie ticket with that. That's the number one box
100.
office film based on what happened in this game alone. Absolutely. Crazy.
The the most amazing part about it, I'm just going to say this: the composure of both teams coming down. I did not feel like the originators were getting tight, even though they're leading their division.
Mm-hmm.
I did not feel like the Indy Stripes were necessarily feeling as though they have to press it because they were out of their league or out of their competition. And I don't mean to say that in a negative way, but let's face it, we got a 9-2 versus a 4-7.
Right.
Did not feel
Right.
like that at all.
No.
And the composures of the players coming down through one after another, big shot after big shot, stop after
Right.
stop. I mean, that is what you want. I mean, that is what Sim World Hoops is all about. And by the way, if the rest of the season goes this way, short of the power outage, of course, and the race to one, at some point, Sim World Hoops going to break the internet, right? I mean,
Huh.
if this what we're gonna get, if this what we're gonna get, coming down to the race to one, because the season's starting to get thick. Games are
Right.
piling up on the games. Everything else is going to what it's supposed to be. We have all these teams that are in the middle. I don't want to give away a later segment, but we got all these teams that are kind of floating around in the middle that don't look like they're middle of the road teams. And we got all these other teams that are leading by multiple games in their divisions. and some of them don't quite look exactly like their division leaders. And some people who are in the bottom of their divisions don't look like they're bottom dwellers in their division either.
Yeah, it's
Man,
crazy.
oh man, this is gonna be oh I man, look, wait, I'm sorry, I'm gonna order some more popcorn. I need some more popcorn. Give me a second. Go ahead, go ahead, talk because I'm on the phone with
Yeah,
Walmart.com right now.
it's crazy for sure. And again, this is the league where anybody you have to bring your game, baby. It's no other way. I say it week in and week out every time I'm on the show. I make sure I let you know, hey, anytime, any place, any game, any team has a chance to win if you do not bring your A game. So shout out to Indy for making a hell of a game, giving originators all they want and then some. And I can't wait until later on we find a way that we do when we pick our date to see the dramatic conclusion of this game. Can you say,
Exactly.
oh, rivalry maybe? Perhaps. I mean, we talk about
You
rivalries.
know,
You really don't talk
yeah.
about a number one seed versus a number 17 seed. They're not 17. I'm blowing it out of proportion. But you normally don't see two drastic seeds like that with the rivalry. But I mean, with a little bit of black magic and a little bit
Mm,
of uh uh
mm.
a little bit of dare I say, what's the word we usually insert here when things conspiracy theorists? A little bit of
Conspiracy theory. There
conspiracy,
you go.
yeah, a little bit of black
Yeah.
magic, and
Uh-huh.
so let me throw a little icing, let me throw a little cherry on top of this before we close the segment up.
Put it on
Who
there,
do
put it on
you
there.
think? Who do you think would have pulled it out? This is the argument for the day.
Imma tell you something. I'm looking at Indy like,
Originators down
"What?"
by one. Originators
I'm
down by
looking at
one.
In I'm looking at
Originators
Indy
have the
like,
ball.
"What?" I'm
22
looking at
seconds
Indy
left.
like, "What?" I'm looking
Do
at
Indy
Indy like,
make
"What?"
that stop? Do Indy make
I'm
that
looking at
stop, you
Indy
think?
I'm looking at Indy like, "What?" I keep saying it. I'm looking at Indy like, "What?" Indy. I'm
Indy.
I was feeling Indy. I'm looking at Indy like, "What?"
Hmm.
Imma say it again. Imma say
Okay.
it one more time. I'm looking at Indy like, "What?" Bruh,
Okay.
I'm looking at
Okay.
Indy. It was like, 'cause they were right there. They were right there. And, oh,
They're
by
right
the
there.
way, Imma say something too. Having seen Indy a few times, this was the most balanced game that I have seen with my eyes, and I'm just gonna say it that way. I went back and I
Hmm.
watched some I watched some of the other games, that we have posted on YouTube. Thank everybody else for coming checking those out, and look, and listen, we want all y'all to get involved there. Go back there. Listen, get the receipts on Blaze and me. Let us know what's going on, and, oh, by the way, reach out to your peeps. If you got the game, come on, be a player. If you got the brain, come on, be a coach. Sign up with us at discord.gg// SimWorld NBA. Come on, man. Let's go on and get it. See the game, be the game. So I'm just gonna say this right up to the tip of the thing. This is the first time that I have seen Indy with my eyes, live and on point,
Hmm.
not in replay, where I felt like I saw the most balanced game. And this is including games that they won handily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's not a lot.
You
I mean,
know,
it's not a lot. They only won 4, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah, but you have to give it to them, right? So I agree because to be in the thick of it with the originators who's beat pretty much everybody so far, uh,
Mhm.
you don't get there by luck all game. You have to get some defensive stops,
Mm-mm.
and you got to make some buckets. So shout out to Indy Stripes and the coaching staff
Yes.
for getting some shots and for getting some stops and for making some buckets. Lots of
100%.
them.
100%. 100%. So let's talk about the sub threes. There's a lot of teams in 3rd place in this division, and a couple of
Hmm.
cases I'm sorry, in this league, a lot of teams in 3rd position I'm sorry, in 3rd in their division, in some cases tied, but they're sub 500 teams. So
Correct.
they're sub 500 teams. The Look, it's thick. Who do you see in those 3 positions, in those 3rd positions in their divisions that have a chance? And we started this conversation a month ago. We're looking a little
Hmm.
bit different now because the middle's getting thick. Who do you see
Right.
in the number 3s that's gonna pull up and start challenging the 2s and the 1s? Even
Well,
though
I'm
they're
I'm
under
gonna
500 right now.
You mean under 500 or third place in their division?
They're third place, but they're under 500. You have teams that are sub 500, but still
Okay, you
managing to
talking
be
about
in
the
third place.
so let's make sure we talking about beyond the arc. We're talking
Mhm.
about Rain and Trays.
Mhm.
We're talking about South America, and we're talking
Mhm.
about Gulf Coast lockdown, right?
You get me. See, you get
All
me,
right.
Blaze.
So are we throwing Run DMV in there? They 6-5. Yes or no?
Why not? Why not? Close enough.
Okay. Okay. Well, if that's the case. Are we throwing Showtime? They're 7-5.
Nah, nah.
Okay, throw them. Okay, not Showtime. Excluding Showtime, we got Run DMV, Beyond the Arc, Rain and Trays, South America, Gulf Coast Lockdown. Which one of these teams I think can rise and challenge for the number one spot in their division? Woo, that's tough.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, man, the top of these divisions are stacked, bro. The tops of if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with Run DMV, and only because I think Beast of the East is a catchable team. Rocky
Okay.
Mountains, I don't know if they're as easy to catch. I don't know if the Originators is as easy to catch. Out of all H Town Hoopers, out of Lone Star Basketball, out of all the teams at the top on these other divisions, Beast of the East is the most catchable team in my opinion. So I will go Run DMV.
You've been consistent with that all season, my friend. I got to give you props on the fact that you've never wavered on that. You've always said from the beginning that they were never who you they are not who their record says they are. You've said
Absolutely.
it. You've been consistent with that. We've seen it in the game. They seem to do manage just enough.
Yes or no?
Just
And they're not bad.
enough.
They are
No,
not bad.
not at all.
I'm just saying I don't think out of all the top teams in all the divisions, I would have them the last team as the top team in those divisions.
Do you
That's just all I'm
remember
saying.
I'm gonna say this. Do you remember okay, so I'm gonna go back to something people might be familiar with. So when you look at okay, so let's look at let's take a look at the 2 title runs of the Bulls, right? There
Uh-huh.
was there were both in both three-peats, there was something consistent. One season, they blew everybody out. Another season, it seemed to be like they were just barely hanging on. And then another season, it seemed like they were the favorites, but they never looked like it. And it's really funny, right? It's like it seemed like they won no matter what position they were in. That's what I think of when I see the Beast of the East. They do just enough to be right there to get it done. I'm marking that down. We're gonna see what's gonna happen because we got more games coming up here. We got Yacht Club versus Southeast Select, and of course, the last
Mm-hmm.
part of our trip ahead tonight, Rain and Trades versus Rocky Mountain. Those are gonna be some good games. So I'm gonna ask
Great
you a
game.
question.
That's gonna be a great game.
I
Uh-huh.
gotta ask you. Now, listen, everybody knows Blaze don't know what's about to happen to him. Okay,
I do not.
do you have you ever worked with that person who used the company's photocopier to copy some part of their body and
Mm-hmm.
then mass distribute it to everybody else because they were proud?
Oh wow. The A part of that statement, that question, yes. The B part, no. So I had a young a girl I was, we were together, so to speak. She decided to make a photocopy. She worked can I say what she worked at? Hell, she worked for Shell Company. This was years ago, so you can't. She doesn't work there anymore, so she should be good. She worked at the Shell Company, and yeah, she one time did a photocopy of of those hams. She had some ham, nice size hams, and
Mhm.
yeah, and she sent me some Xerox, and
Mm.
I was glad about it. But it wasn't for the whole world, but I did get to see a photocopy of yeah of some
I
back end
think I
in
worked with
motion.
her too. I think I worked with her too. Had one young had 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 one young lady who photocopied her onion and
Mm,
got some other between the two onion halves. And
oh,
let's just say
interesting.
let's just say she was handing it out like it was uh, candy at
Onion,
Halloween.
like it
And
was
everybody
onion
know this is
rings.
Photoshop. Yeah, bro. I'll tell you
She
something.
was handing out
Full
like them
color, by
onion
the way.
rings.
Full
Wow.
color.
Oh
Full
wow,
color.
full color.
So
Oh, she paid
yeah.
extra. Oh,
So,
she went big balls on it. Okay.
yeah, huh, I may or may not still have that. Anyway, so another game so another game coming up here, Yacht Club versus SES. Who you got?
uh, yes, yes.
Okay, here we go. Stay tuned for this next game. We'll see you on the second post up coming out right after that.
Welcome to sunny South Florida. We thank you all for joining us for the second game of our doubleheader here. We apologize for all of our fans for that unfortunate end to the Originators and Indy Stripes game. Of course, some technical issues due to the power going out in Boston. So we are, as the league just recently announced, we will be finalizing that game at a later date, and as soon as that date is made available, we will pass that information along to you. We'll get the final 22 seconds of what was a thrilling game and what was gearing up to be an even more thrilling ending. But we will hit what should be a pretty good game here, Siege, in South Florida, with the Yacht Club and Southeast Select squaring off.
Absolutely, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. My big key for this game is you look at the rosters, you look at the bigs. Southeast Select's got a little more size inside. Yacht Club doesn't boast any huge guys. I think their biggest guy is about 6'9". I'm wondering how they're going to deal with that size, and if this guy Trey Turner can go off, it's going to be tough.
Well, there's 3 points from Trey Turner, one of the best players in SimWorld hoops and arguably the best shooter in the league. He gets that corner three to go. That kicks off the scoring for Southeast Select. 2 points. Tyshawn Eason answers the bell and immediately goes into a press defense there on the inbound. Here is Southeast Select trying to get themselves back on and rally up what has been a competitive division there for Southeast Select. And Siege, what's some big things that you're looking for in today's game?
Well, as always, excited to watch talents like Trey Turner and Dominic Bianco go head-to-head. Two incredible talents. Big thing I'm looking for, like I said, the big matchup is, are the Yacht Club going to be able to score inside? Are they going to be able to crash the boards well enough to keep that from being a difference maker in this game?
3 points there for Jay Laster, one of the big scorers here for the Yacht Club. You mentioned Dominic Bianco being a big name for Yacht Club. Jay Laster has been a pretty big piece of the puzzle for a Yacht Club team that's slightly above 500, playing good basketball, maybe not great basketball, but still highly efficient games from a team trying to work their way up a competitive Tropic division here.
Absolutely, and we just saw there Kadarius Stack on the offensive boards getting the easy second chance points, and that's a problem for me if I'm the Yacht Club that I need to address immediately. Because if they can't find a way to put a body on these bigs, Keandre Baldridge and Kadarius Stack inside, that's going to be a factor all game, as is that.
Block on that end. Here comes driving to the paint. Gabe Pope, starting point guard out of Puerto Rico. His shot turned away. 7-5 early on here, just over approaching 2.5 to play, or into play of the first quarter here in Brickell. Good pass there for Bianco, and the two-handed slam inside ties things up.
We know he's got that in his bag. He can do just about everything. That's why he's ranked as high as he is. And if he can have a good game, it might offset the big situation here.
That was Rizzo Davis Reitzel on the two-handed bucket. Here's Bianco. Kicks it to Eason. Eason back to Bianco. Trying to get inside, struggling against Pope. Spin move, layup though, good to go for Dominic Bianco.
So talented, so fun to watch when he's got the ball in his hands. Looking forward to a good one between him and Trey Turner here.
Operating in the paint is Kadarius Stack Jr. You mentioned Trey Turner's the big name. Terrell Pearson off the bench has been a very efficient scorer for them, 12.6 points per game. Meanwhile, Gabe Pope, number 4 in the league in assists. With steals, 1.4.
I'm a big Terrell Pearson fan. I think he plays the game. He does a lot of things really well. He's very disciplined. He's one of those quiet players. He's okay with playing his role. He doesn't need to be in the spotlight, and he plays a huge factor in Southeast Select's success.
Bianco, late shot clock, 3 won't fall. Rebound for Stack Jr. Heads the opposite direction for Yacht Club, trying to build on it. inside. That's 2 points from Keandre Baldridge. Averaging just under 8 points per game is the South Carolina native. And a tough take from Bianco, but the size of Kadarius Stack, 6'10". Bianco checking in at just 6 foot, so that 10-inch advantage paying off there for Southeast Select.
And both of these bigs for Southeast Select are good at being very versatile, rebounding, defending, very long bigs. I mean, they do a lot for this team.
They do a lot for a team that's trying to rebound, or I'd rather keep the train rolling. That they've had some good competition, or good performances rather, against maybe lesser competition. Back-to-back wins for Southeast Select come over Middle East and South America. And Jay Laster can't get that highlight play to finish, but both of those siege came after the team had the head-scratching 1-point loss to Simorl Africa, who admittedly has seemed to turn things around in recent games. That was the one, as we've mentioned plenty of times, head-scratching loss that basically every title contender has. Southeast Selects came then, as Trey Turner here's the deep two.
And we almost saw a potentially head-scratching loss for the Originators in our last game, but that could still turn into 1 point.
And we still may, as Jay Laster buries the pull-up three. 13-12. Again, we'll get the finish, the conclusion to that game at a later date. We'll announce that. The league will announce that as soon as it's available. Timeout here for Southeast Select. We're going to step aside. 2:04 to play in the first quarter. Welcome back to South Florida. Southeast Select holding on to a 1-point lead over the Yacht Club, and what has been a very busy night of not only Simorl hoops, but also South Florida sports, as we have a pair of playoff games underway, both of them out of South Florida, so fortunately the traffic here to Miami wasn't quite as bad. But Miami Heat facing off against the New York Knicks in Game 2 of that Eastern Conference semifinals. And of course, the Panthers, who you mentioned earlier, holding a 3-2 edge over the Toronto Maple Leafs up north of the border in their second round series as well.
Viva la Florida.
Viva la South Florida. 54-51 lead for Miami. And this, of course, I mean, look, I'm South Florida native right here. I'll keep talking our smoke. This comes on the heels of Miami making a run, FAU in men's hoop making a run to the Final Four. I mean, it's South Florida's world, and you all are just living in it. So Three there won't fall.
Let me know when it results in a title.
Well, I got nothing. I got no comeback to that one. There's no titles right now in South Florida. And if we're being honest, I'm not looking for an NBA title to make its way down to South Beach. My fanhood is well established. Out of bounds there for out of bounds for Yacht Club, Southeast Select Ball.
The Dolphins are your best chance down there, I'll tell you what.
Well, and also well chronicled in the North Florida fans, so I'm also not rooting for that one. Go Jags, Duval. Inbound here for Southeast Select, and no defense there. A breakdown and 2 points easily for Terrell Pearson as he enters the game for the first time. Makes some pay for that mishap. One of the bigger stories, pull up there from last year won't fall. One of the bigger stories of this season for the Yacht Club, of course, is the suspension of Adam Max, and no real identification if that's going to be ended anytime soon. Again, that was by the team, by Yacht Club, not by the league. Suspended indefinitely for his conduct off the court. Stack Jr. can't get that to go. 5 seconds to play here in the first quarter. 3-point edge. Chance to tie. Davis writes it. Can't get it to go, and that's going to end our first quarter. 17-14 through the first 8. We'll be back for the second quarter after this. We're back here in Miami, second quarter about to tip off. Southeast Select holding on to a 3-point lead, 17-14. 12 of their 17 points came in the paint for Southeast Select in that first quarter. 3 of them notably from Trey Turner, of course. His deep 3 kicked us off from the corner. A 3-point edge for Southeast Select, and now it'll be Kadarius Stack with a chance to add 2 more to that ledger. He draws the foul on Davis Wrights.
At the line for Southeast Select.
The bigs for Southeast been playing tough so far.
Shooting 2.
See if they can keep that up, maybe give them a little advantage there, as we know that in the backcourt it's a battle between Trey Turner and Dominic Bianco. The advantage might need to be coming from somewhere else on the court.
Might indeed, in a quiet night thus far from Jay Laster. Did have 3 in that first quarter, but otherwise not necessarily making his impact. Laster averaging 16.4 points per game, but needing a couple more from him here for Yacht Club to try to pull one off. Of course, Dominic Bianco, the leading scorer there for the Yacht Club at 19.6. Actually, the leading scorer of this game, believe it or not, higher than 19.3 from Trey Turner. Stack can't get the second one to go. Rebound to Davis right side. Bring it up, and that's a lay-in there from Jamichael Guzman. South Carolina native himself. Leads the team in rebounding at 6.3. Gets that bucket to go, and we're back within 2. Pearson. It's a screen there. Solomon operating on Laster. Kicks it out to Solomon. He'll try a 3. Gets it to go. Wanted to double check there that the foot wasn't on the line. And indeed it was not.
Ooh. Stay Laster.
Laster on cue. Gets that one to go. Solomon, stack turned away. Davis rights it. Blocks that one.
He's clapping in his face. He's hyped up. He's excited.
Substitutions on the floor.
Big block there from Davis Wrightsell, 6'9" Fort Myers native. Of course, some Florida and Caribbean vibes here on this Southeast Select squad as the three falls in the corner from Jalen West. You've got Vanessa Warnick, Palm Bay, Florida native, and of course Gabe Pope, Puerto Rico. Neither of them found their way to the Yacht Club, obviously South Florida-based team. Jay Laster dips and dives his way into the paint for two more.
Jay Laster's having himself a nice game here so far. I believe he's got 12 points, a little over half of the Yacht Club's scoring output. He's been the primary focus so far, and let's see if that's going to lead to some defensive adjustments for Southeast.
Double team comes there on Pearson. Can't get that one to go over the extended arm of Davis Wrightsell. And Siege, we get two teams, Yacht Club 5 and 4 on the season. Meanwhile, 8 and 4 is Southeast Select. Who is this game? Who's it bigger for between the two? Who needs it more, all things considered?
That's a tough question. I'm gonna go with Southeast Select. I think Southeast Select they've had some tough competition so far. It's always nice to get a win against another team that's kind of considered top of the barrel, and Yacht Club is considered one of those, good teams in the league. So that would be a big win for them.
Yacht Club getting just their third crack at a top team. Top team being a division leader. They've already lost to H-Town. That bucket falls. Triple from Trey Willis. 24-22 now, but they've had tough loss to H-Town Hoopers, 75-63. A blowout at the hands of the Originators, 88-64. As Rizzo step out of bounds. Rizzo Davis Wrightsell, excuse me, the three-name man. But then that big loss, 88-66 to the Originators. They did, of course, beat Bad Boys Basketball, but still looking for that signature win over a top team. Come up empty thus far on the season.
It'd be a great opportunity for them to get one. If they can keep Jay Laster going, but I think he's going to need a little bit of help. So far, it's been majority just him.
No help needed there from Lane Loud. Dunks that one home, coming off the bench for Southeast. Still early in the season. Most teams are approaching. This will be the 10th game of the season as Jay Laster continues his dominant second quarter. Most teams are approaching that 10-game mark, 30-game regular season, so small size sample theater starting to evaporate and more consistent impressions can be made. Yacht Club trying to make theirs here. Rebound from Laster, miss from Pearson. Laster eyed the three for a second, instead goes to the floor, can't get it to go. Rebound to West. Lau operating on top. Screen to free West. He'll come in now, screen the defender. That's Trey Willis on Lau. Shot clock at 3. Step back 3, doesn't take the first one. Contested second one. Can't get it to go. Rebound to Garrett Hart.
The youngster there and Lane Lau kind of just pulling up for that one. Maybe could have made a little better play there, but again, that comes with the youth.
Youngest player on the floor, 15 years old, is Lane Lau. And the layup will go for Tyshawn Esom and the foul. That's coming on, I believe they called that one on Solomon. I beg your pardon, I believe that was Shake Travis. Or am I begging your pardon, the third time was that Baldridge?
I believe, was he not on Lane Lau? It was on somebody.
The foul is regardless. Just now a chance for Esom to give the Yacht Club a lead here. Late third, they've struggled to do that. Southeast Select got off to a good start, led briefly, Yacht Club did, at the 7-5 mark, or rather 8-7 mark. But he gets that one to go regardless. 27-26, 3:23 to play in the first half. Spin move, up, in, gets it to go. Shake Travis. Highlight reel layup. Southeast Select right back on top, doing this without a huge night so far from Trey Turner.
Shake Travis with the shake and bake to the rim. Beautiful move.
Dominic Bianca now. It's going to be Tamir Johnson. Can't get that to fall. Rebound, though, staying here. Jay Laster, corner three.
He's on one tonight.
Jay Laster, but give credit there for Tyshawn Eason. That offensive board kept the possession alive. Rebound there, headed the opposite direction after the Southeast miss. Chance for Yacht Club to build on their lead.
Ooh.
Blocked shot on the inbound. Dominic Bianca kicks it to Tamir Johnson. That's 2 points. Tamir Johnson, Pompano Beach native, not far from his home. 2 points for Yacht Club. 4-point lead, that's their largest. Under 2 to play, Gabe Pope. Trying to make headway off Bianca, struggling to do so. And an offensive 3-second violation. That's going to be called on Warnick. And that's going to be Yacht Club ball now. Chance to extend the lead. Much better close to this second quarter for Yacht Club than they had in much of this game.
You can't have those mental errors in a game that's been as tight as this one has so far. It's the little things that are going to make the difference in a game like this, and mental errors just can't happen.
That was Bianca. So it'll be Johnson. Johnson, a recent addition to the starting lineup, but he gets that ball stolen from him by Shake Travis. Travis to Pope. Pope pulls it out. Back to him. Working on Bianco. 12 seconds to shoot. Back to Pope, just above the 3-point line. Gets the screen there from Solomon. To the paint. Pope, tough layup, gets it to go.
Seen Gabe Pope be kind of a tough guard before. He's good on those drives, really good at using his body to get to the rim and get those angles. Showed it there.
Operating inside, getting awfully close to that 3-second violation. Tough layup. Attempted there. Can't get that to go for Eason. Quickly the opposite direction, Southeast Select. Underhand to Pope. Takes to Solomon on the edge. Operating on Laster. Trying to get that briefly inside. Screen there, trying to free Pope, won't happen. 2 seconds shoot, pull up, midi. Can't get that to fall. Rebound. That's Keandre Baldridge. Keeps the possession alive to Shake Travis. 7 seconds to shoot, 13 in the first half. Trey Turner going to work, layup, yes.
Oh. Tough move inside by Trey Turner, getting to the rack. He's known as a shooter, but he's got a little bit of that in his bag as well.
Jay Laster, 4 seconds, kicks it all the way out of bounds. They brought the double on Laster. Turns the ball over, so now Southeast Select is Kadarius Stack checking in for Shake Travis. Opportunity to take the lead if they can get this one in to Trey Turner. Half-court heave, no sir. That'll be our halftime score, 32-32. A big night from Jay Laster so far for Yacht Club. But Siege, as we head to the break, what is the biggest thing that you've seen here in the first half, and what do you expect to see in the second?
I mean, biggest thing I've seen so far is Jay Laster. Jay Laster's looking like a star out there. He's come out and really, for the most part, put his team on his back. We've also seen Tyshawn Ism really be great inside. He's doing exactly what we talked about. He's really battling the bigs from the Southeast really well. And then on the other side, Trey Turner been a little quiet, but he's made plays when he's need to, hit a couple shots. We saw the youngster Lane Lau come in, be a little bit productive. And then the bigs are making their difference, but I think they've got to be a little bit more imposing to give Southeast that advantage that they need in this game.
We'll be looking to get more out of Trey Turner. A quiet first half from him. It's Kadarius Stack, the leading performer, but 17 from Jay Laster. We'll be back second half for this. Welcome back to South Florida. 32-32. Big night from Jay Laster. Trying to challenge old Jimbo Butler for the crown of King of Miami. He's got 17 in the first half. Of course, no one's taken that crown from Jimmy. Butler out tonight, though. He still leads 71-66. A little out-of-town scoreboard from our sister league, the NBA. And Davis Wrightsil, 2 points. Yacht Club back on top. 2 very emphatic points from Rizzo. 34-32 as that gets our second half scoring underway.
Yeah, Jay Laster is putting on his best Jimmy Butler impression. We'll see if that keeps up here in the second half.
Jimmy, of course, out with that sprained ankle. Recognizing a phenomenal fashion outfit, tank top, sweatpants, and Birkenstocks and socks on the sideline for that Heat game. But back to live action here. A 3-pointer for Southeast Select. 35-34. Jay Laster the answer, and he does. Jay Laster entered the game with 26 points, or excuse me, 3-pointers made. Top 10 3-pointer in Simworld Hoops. Trey Turner, though, making the answer. 2 of the better 3-point shooters in the league. Of course, Trey Turner at a slightly different level, entered with 45. Well, that's just a 2. Foot was on the line. Eason to Laster. Laster with 19. Eye to the line, doesn't get it to go. Blocked there from Turner.
Trey Turner. He's got something to say about it. Oh, on both ends, Trey Turner with the off-balance 3 coming off the screen. Beautiful basketball there from Trey on both ends.
Turner will not be outdone.
Turner's about to come out of this one saying, I'm the king of Miami. Get out of here.
Number 4 ranked player in the country. Laster briefly had Eason wide open, as did Johnson. Neither of them get it to him, but Johnson says he's doing it himself. Draws the foul on Karius Stack. Gets that one to go. And now a chance to tie with a 3-pointer done the old-fashioned way.
Too tough there. What's he got written under his eye there, Marsh? What has he got?
Fed the god? Can't tell, but he's got the Nelly style, Tim Tebow-esque Band-Aid / eye black, despite the fact that it's 9:15 in South Florida and the sun is most certainly set.
Speaking of Kings of Florida, bringing up Tim Tebow there, who I will mention did cry after he lost Alabama. Let's not forget that.
He'd cry if he saw a good cucumber go to waste in a grocery store. That made his emotions. Shake Travis. Over the Stack, can't get that one to go. And also, South Florida does not quite claim ownership of Tim Tebow. Gainesville, of course, not quite considered Southern. And there's always the Florida-Miami rivalry in college football, though. Tough to call that much of a rivalry at this point, considering the recent histories of both organizations. Here's Dominic Bianco! Oh! Jeez Louise! Dominic Bianco doesn't need 10 inches on Karius Stack to throw it down.
Is that allowed? Is he allowed to go flying through the air like that? Does he have a license for that?
He took flight. We'll have to check with his FAA waiver for an after-hours flight. 2 points nonetheless, 42-40. Bring on the shot clock. Trey Turner silences the crowd with a 3. Yet another from Trey Turner.
Trey Turner makes it look easy. Yeah, short-lived highlight there for Bianco. Everyone forgot about it pretty quick after that one.
Bianco now trying to put Terrell Pearson in the blender. Does indeed, but can't get the finisher. 43-42, halfway through the third quarter here. Stack turns it over. That's Bianco. Up to Wrightsil. Davis Wrightsil blocked by Stack.
Great block by Stack. Hustled back. Got a nice
immediately the other way, and a cold-blooded pull-up deep 2 from Trey Turner. 45-42 now. Foot was on the line. Turner not afraid of any shot known to man. Gets that one to go. Here's Davis Wrightsil. He's going on Stack, and despite the fact that Kadarius Stack Jr. had a good block on that last possession, most certainly Yacht is not afraid of going after him. And he will answer with a soft lay-in on the other end.
Easy bucket there. Way to run the floor, get to the open space, and easy.
Siege, we didn't get to really dive into it too much in our first game. Of course, the food of the game in Boston. Oh my God, the phone! Canaria stock poster number 2!
You might want to check out of this game.
Trey Willis with no fear.
Ooh! Right back at it.
The opposite end is Terrell Pearson. The highlights keep coming.
To answer your question, I'm personally sitting here with a large plate of crab rangoon, courtesy of. Yep. Yeah, I know it's not native to here. I was
miles from Lil Havana, and you went with crab rangoon.
Look, it's what I was craving tonight. All right, I can't always go with the local snack. You know, okay? I wanted some rangoon.
Your food card is on the verge of getting taken.
Mars, what do you know about a food card? You're grade C in the food card level. Okay, I'm not a triple grade A plus.
Not when you get crab rangoon in Miami.
What are you talking? What are you eating? What are you munching on?
Got some beefsteaks here over here, man. I went over to Lil Havana, got myself a mojito, a beefsteak. I'm running good.
All right, well look, I wanted rangoons. I wasn't in the mood for a steak.
You could have rangoon any night of the week.
Yeah, and I chose tonight, Marsh. I chose tonight.
You chose it in a cultural epicenter of just great Cuban food.
Look, it's not like it's gonna be my last meal here. I've got a reservation set up for after the game for us. If you get back on your best behavior here.
Better be to Versailles. If it's not to Versailles, I'm not going.
All right, well it is, but you ruined the surprise now. So
I know your style. Well, I knew your style until you pulled out a crab rangoon.
Look. I'm not going to bring up past incidents with you, but all I know is that your food card is not on the grade level that mine is. Sometimes we got to go with what you're craving, and what I'm craving is rangoons. And let's not act like they don't have great crab rangoons down here in Miami. I would put them on my top 10 list.
Staple.
So what?
Crab rangoon in Miami is a top 10?
A top 10 place to get rangoons. Yes, and I'll stand by that.
That makes there's no.
My guy Toshiro's got me down at the little hibachi center, right down the road. It's a 10-minute Uber. You don't know Toshiro. You don't know what he does with his rangoons. Okay, and until you've tried them, I don't want you to speak on them.
This is South Florida. The Asian population is few and far between here in this part of the country.
And the ones who are here know what they're doing.
I don't know that that's true.
They're here for a reason, Marsh.
They're really not. There's much better reasons for them to be elsewhere. As Trey Wills blows a layup, gets the offensive rebound to go. 56-52 here. 1:06 left to play in the third quarter. Well, Pearson across the midline. We'll revisit as the midi falls from Kadarius Stack. We'll revisit the crab rangoon topic offline.
Look,
I'm not sure I'm buying this one.
Regardless of whether they're good in Miami or not, rangoon is an elite thing to eat. Crab rangoons are up there in my favorite.
I'm not denying that Bianco gets it to go. I'm not denying that crab rangoons are good. I'm a big fan. But I'm just saying I don't go to Boston and get French food. You get Italian. You get clam chowder.
You might get shrimp and grits.
Yeah, I do shrimp and grits. Now that I know what it is, now that I've educated myself.
Yes, and you're on your way up, but don't knock yourself back down. Crab rangoons are in the same category as pizza. Even not great rangoons are great, and that's how it goes.
What world are crab rangoons on the same tier as pizza?
You must not eat crab rangoons that much.
I'm a lone main guy. 9 seconds here in the third quarter as Terrell Pearson leaves Dominic Bianco in the dust. Gets that one to go. 5 seconds now to play in the third. A deep heave all the way up to Wrightsville, but the block by Stack. Gets it at the buzzer. Are we going to count it? We're going to go to an official review here. Davis Wrightsville Looks like he might have gotten that one off. We're going to go to a official review here.
He seems to think he got that off.
It looked close. Here's the review. Can't get a good view of the clock from this angle. Looks like that's the zeros, and I think that's if that's what I'm led to believe, that we've stopped it there at the 0. That is most certainly not off in time, and it'll be short for Davis Reitzel. And still waiting that final word. There it is. No basket.
The officials have ruled no basket.
No basket for Davis Reitzel. That's going to end the third. 60-56. Southeast Select on top after this. Welcome back to South Florida. Southeast Select leading 60-56 over the Yacht Club thanks to a solid close to that quarter. Almost a turnover, and there it is, the turnover. Jalen West, pull-up three, won't fall. Rebound to Eason.
And Yacht Club's bigs have been battling all night, just like we said that was going to be a key to the game if they could, contain these bigger guys and kind of battle with them. And so far, Tyshawn Ism and Rizzo, the Riz God, have done a great job battling with the bigs from Southeast Select.
Stepping out of bounds there was Trey Willis. That's a turnover, of course. Gabe Pope, though, swatted away from Willis.
returns the favor. Trey Willis tried to end Gabe Pope's career before it started a couple possessions ago with a highlight dunk, and Gabe Pope was able to poke the ball out. But looks like he returned the favor on that one.
Inbound there to the corner. Kicked over to West. Screen there from Pearson. Gets into the paint. Jalen West on block. Tyson Eason turns away the dunk attempt. Yacht Club, 7 minutes to play, trying to cut into this 4-point deficit. Over to Jay Laster, who's been high. Gets a screen. Thought about a step back three, decides against it. Kicks it to Eason in the corner. Top to Guzman. Laster, three. Long.
Whoa.
Doesn't even catch iron there.
That is not the same guy we saw in the first half. He must not have had his halftime. Rangoons, Marsh, Rangoons. They're the lifeblood that fuels champions.
I don't think they do. We're going to agree to disagree on that one. Trey Willis up inside. Can't get that to go. Pearson operating on Laster. Can't get freed up from the screen. And now a charge called on Pearson.
Whoa.
Jay Laster draws that one.
Pearson, that was offensive. Yacht Club ball.
Ever energetic PA announcers of South Florida indicating for us an offensive foul.
I'm just wondering what keeps him so energetic all game. It's amazing.
Probably not Crab Rangoon.
Probably not. I'm thinking of something else.
Step back from Laster. Won't fall. Warnick from board. Pope.
Quick trigger.
Three ball falls. Trey Turner not on the floor here for Southeast Select. The three ball still falling. Inside to Guzman. That won't fall. Rebound now to Baldridge. Southeast Select doing a great job of controlling the boards here on both ends. Warnick quickly the opposite way. We've got a 9-point advantage for Southeast.
Happened real quick for him. And are we sure Gabe Pope isn't the unclaimed son of Ricky Rubio? Because he looks just like him.
Now, could be the unclaimed son. He certainly plays like it as a turnover here for Warnick. 4.1 assists per game for Gabe Pope, team leader. The top 10 guy at steal, 1.4 per game. Here's Terrell Pearson. Offensive dynamo off the bench for Southeast Select. 12 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, and foot on the line. We are going to step away with 5:04 to play in the fourth quarter. We are back, 9-point edge here for Southeast Select. 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Jay Laster, the floater, tickles Twine, 65-58 now. Laster trying to get going after a good first half and 17 points in the first half. He hasn't been quite as dynamic in the second half as the Yacht Club's offense has sputtered. Here's Trey Turner, tough layup over Jay Laster, gets that to go. Flexes on the way down, back up to 9.
Like to see how Yacht Club maybe comes back into this game. Not a lot of time left. They're going to need to make their stride soon. It's been a tight one all the way, but Southeast has kind of pulled away so far in this fourth quarter. So they're going to need to have something go their way if they're going to make a little comeback here.
Bianco, tight defense, well defended there by Gabe Pope. Forced to shoot one up late in the shot clock, and now a chance for Southeast to push this to double figures past the midway point of the fourth quarter. Trey Turner, double team to Stack. Tough layup, gets it to go, up to 11.
Double-digit double-digit lead. You know what they say, first one to 69 points usually wins the game, and we'll see if that holds true tonight.
Yep, that's the normal saying.
Yep. That is what they say, Marsh.
I don't know if first to 69 means something. I don't think it's that. Dominic Bianco can't get the Euro step to go. Kicked out to Jay Laster. Double team comes there. Freeze a threesome. And he's turned away by Keandre Baldridge.
I was looking forward to the slam there.
And Stack can't get the answer. Offensive board, though. Up to Baldridge. To Trey Turner. 3-point. Quick trigger. Gets it to go.
Trey Turner.
You know, you don't usually call something a dagger with 3 minutes left, but that feels disheartening.
I think that is a dagger. 14 points. Trey Turner knew he was shooting that the moment he came off that pin down screen. Inside here to Laster. They try to answer. Won't go. Good defense from Trey Turner. Perhaps the more underrated part of his game. 72-58. Turner has gotten the assignment. Second half. Another three. And that is a timeout for the Yacht Club. Trey Turner, the assignment on Jay Laster on the defensive end. Back-to-back triples. And this is out of hand. Call it a night in Miami. 2:39 to play, but a 75-58 lead for Southeast Select. Remind all of our fans out there, feel free to join SimWorld Hoops. We're always looking for coaches and players. SimWorld on our Discord. Discord is discord.gg/SimWorldNBA. Come join the fight here. Southeast Select putting up a fight of their own against Yacht Club, in need of a big win. This will be their third in a row, all coming on the heels of that disappointing 1-point loss to Africa. And Siege, kick it to you, your player of the game.
Trey Turner. I'm going to give it to Trey Turner. He had a quiet 9 in the first half. Wasn't quite looking like normal Trey Turner, but hit some shots. But in the second half, he's exploded on the offensive and defensive end. I mean, he has looked everything like the number 4 player in SimWorld Hoops tonight.
Picking Trey Turner for the player of the game there is sort of like going to Miami and getting Cuban food. It's just a no-brainer. Shooting foul there called on Guzman.
Marsh!
That's his first.
2:10 left. We're just
Off the line for
getting stats at this point.
Kadarius Stack Jr.
And you know, Siege, the worst thing is, by that sound over there, I know you can't tell me I'm wrong.
Look, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. I am going to defend my choice. I don't think you can ever go wrong by getting crab rangoons. It's never the wrong choice. It may not be the first choice, but it's never the wrong choice.
So here's the thing. Here's what crab rangoon is. Okay, crab rangoon is kind of like saying you'd take Gabe Pope as the number 1 guy on this team. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Gabe Pope, but just like you said, he's good. He's a staple. He does things the right way. He offers a lot. Like we said, 4 assists, good steals, occasional scoring, some good defense. But crab rangoon tends to be an ancillary part of anyone's meal. They don't go to a Chinese restaurant and just get crab rangoon. It's always the appetizer or the side. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'll be honest with you, we just had a feast up in Boston, as you know. You were there, and I wasn't quite ready for a whole nother meal. So where did I go? Not the first choice, like I said, in Miami. Obviously, the Cuban food, I get it. But I wanted a little snack. And I went to the Rangoons. My guy Toshiro down here, I don't get to see him often. He's got 2 beautiful daughters, and it was nice to see his family again.
Is that why you're
I went in and saw his family. I haven't seen them in a while, and so it was a really nice.
We were here a couple weeks ago.
It was nice to talk to them. Well, when you're as good of friends as me and Toshiro are, a few weeks feels like a lifetime. So it was nice to see him and the family. I got some Rangoons. He made them special for me. Okay, he whips it up a little different for me. He knows how I like it, and so I got Rangoons. I was gonna share them with you, but not. I don't think you deserve a Rangoon anymore.
I don't think I want a Rangoon anymore. You've soured me on them for quite some time.
You're just doing yourself a disservice at this point.
I'm not.
I'm not arguing with you that they're the number 1 choice in Miami. I'm not. but I'm not going to discount Rangoon. And they're not a Gabe Pope. I would put them more as like a... If you put Gabe Pope and Terrell Pearson together, they're a great supporting. They're a great supporting cast.
It's just here's the thing, Siege, is I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. You know, you've always brought together some good meals for us on the road, and I was expecting a taste of the local cuisine, and I just, you know, I'm left wanting, and hopefully we'll get more in our third game of our triple header tonight. So don't forget, we're headed to Washington, reigning Trays and Rocky Mountain Monsters for the nightcap of an exciting three-game night. So you can redeem yourself out in Washington. I'll be curious to see what you come up with for that one. 10 seconds left here in South Florida. It's going to be Southeast Select. You'll see an 11-point game, but it was a dominant fourth quarter from Trey Turner to lead Southeast Select here. They are going to move on the season to 9-4. That's still second in the Savannah division. Yacht Club drops to 5-5, their second straight loss of the season, though remaining at second in the Tropic division. We'll be back for Game 3 of our triple header. The post-up coming up next on SimWorld TV.
I'm going to get more Rangoons, Marsh.
So then looks up, and then there's all this plastic flying around, right? Where's this plastic coming from, right? Like, and it kind of smells funny. And then we look up, right? And there's all this bags coming out the upper story window in this high rise. And then there's this one janitor going, "You don't want to touch that. I just got through fixing the toilet."
Wow.
We're back. We're back. Okay,
Wow.
here we go. Welcome
Wow.
to post up number 2. This is the maestro.
Like the
This
janitor's toilet, huh?
It's gonna be a lot of Tuesday night, baby boy. This is the maestro, joined by the only man that we know who in one day caught felonies in Mexico, Aruba, Sweden, Canada, and the Marshall Islands.
There
Big
you
Blaze,
go.
how you doing, fam?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. I'm just happy in Miami they paid their light bill. I'll be honest with you.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Something to be said for it. Never mind. I ain't gonna, there's so much stuff I want to say, but I think it's too soon. And speaking of twos, not everybody's twos is the same. So we had a
You right
little,
about
we
that?
had a little, we had a little 2-on-2 action tonight. Yacht Club and Southeast Select, and somebody's two was a little better than somebody else's two,
Mm.
and somebody's two was a lot more stanky than somebody else's
Mm.
two. So Rick, tell us about your twos.
Well, I'm not going to describe mine, but it was a good game. I predicted SES to win. This is why I don't do predictions, Maestro.
Uh-huh.
I'll be trying. I'll be wanting to give people a chance so I can be wrong, so they can rub it in my face. But it just doesn't line up that way. But I like SES. I like where they've been going lately. As far as the team concept is going, Yacht Club is still a team that's without a fireproof identity. Like, besides the team speed, what else can you say about Yacht Club?
Yeah.
Definitively,
No, no,
definitively, what else can you say about them?
no, no,
Team speed. After
no,
that, you head scratching,
no. Yep.
and
It,
that's what we
it's
have here.
straight on point. It's like I've seen them where they've had strong, where they played, they had outside game going, and then I've seen them where they had inside game going,
Right.
but not quite enough. Then they got
Not
the mid range game going. Then they have the
yeah.
defensive game going. It's almost like if you take, so okay, so before the night they were what, 5-4. So you take the previous 9 games, right? The previous 9 games.
hmm
So 5-5, 500 team. And it seems like of all 10 games, I don't it's like every game is like somebody else puts on their uniforms. It's like and I'm not sure if it's strategy, I can't say. I like the talent on the team, I always have, I've never made a secret about that. I like the
hmm
talent on the team. I like I like what's going on with it. However, it seems like beyond an identity crisis, Blaze, I'm gonna say it seems like there is a focus crisis. Like, we
Well,
don't even know, like, and we don't even know what we do well enough to do that on the regular.
and that's the point. That's a very good point. That's what I was just about to lean to. Like I said, now they do all those things. They can shoot from the outside at times. They can shoot mid range at times. They can take to the basketball. I've yet to see them do all things at one time. But what they're lacking is they have a bunch of athletes, but they don't have a bunch of guys who do really one or two things really really well. They got a bunch of guys that do a lot of things okay. They
Right.
don't have a bona fide shooter that, hey, this guy can hit the three every single time. They don't have a bona fide guy say, this guy has the ability to pull down 20 rebounds, block X, Y, and Z shots. They have a bunch of athletes who can do a lot of different things, but they don't have identified roles. So what you end up having is a goulash, what we call it in the South, a gumbo pot of things going on, and nobody's taking
Mm,
center stage, front and center. Everybody's kind of just melding together, which is fine if you're making
gumbo,
goulash, but it's not
gumbo,
fine if you're trying to win a
mm,
ball game.
gumbo,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you stopped talking. Yeah, yeah, bruh, please. Gumbo and goulash together, man, that's been that, man, bro, that's a good Tuesday night, man. You put on, put some Luther, and it's
Come
never
on
mind.
now. Wait, big Luther, little Luther.
Yeah, look, I listen, look, I tell you what, having worked with both,
No,
I'll
hey,
take them.
because there are two different people.
You know what? You know what? Imma tell you something. I'll tell you something straight up about Luther. Whether he was big or whether he was small, he was always a good guy to everybody around him. I'm just gonna put it to you out there like that.
Oh,
You're right,
good.
it was 2
Okay,
different people,
okay.
but he was always a good guy. That part of him never changed, even when he got spelty. And, but I gotta be honest with you. I gotta be honest with you. I like mine big and cuddly because the fat man is my, fun size boot. So there you
That's
go.
true. I like Big
So
Luther. I like Luther with the curl. I like Big Luther with the curl for sure.
there you go. It's all right.
For
Doing
sure.
good.
Yeah.
So, all right.
It's
So here we go. Here we
it's kind of dry but kind of wet. The curl.
go.
Pause. But yeah, I like Big Luther with the curl for sure.
Hey now. So, all right. So, so here we go. Speaking of the curl, hey now. Everybody. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's okay. So now we started this in the last post up. We thank everybody for always checking us out. Again, Give us a shout out. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know what you want to talk about. We keep our receipts. You need to keep our receipts too. We got 3 great podcasts, Blazing Takes, done by my man, my special guest, my hot stuff caramel. I'm sorry, hot stuff caramel right here because I'm peanut butter. Blazing Takes, hosted by Rick Blaze. We got the Marsh Pop by Marsh Mr. Media, and we got the #1 rated podcast in the eastern, western, southern, northern, and the northeastern western hemisphere around the table with Eli
I think
and
I
the
think you
fat
covered
man.
everything on that one, Maestro.
Well, like I call them my fun size, but hey, I got to do what I got to do. Know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, please, go back, check those out. Keep the receipts on us. Make sure that we're straight. Make sure that we're doing and saying the right thing. And, always give us a pop in. Let us know what else you want to hear about, what you want to talk about. And, bring your game. Because if you got the brain, come on, be a coach. Discord.gg//slimworld.nba. Or you can be, if you got the game, come on, be a player. Same thing. Let us know what you got. See the game, be the game, and get in here now for our race to one. So here we go. Speaking of our race to one, we started this in the last post up. The pack.
Yeah.
Blaze is a whole bunch of teams in the middle. I mean, we got a few teams on the top. Only one division has two real front runners. Everybody else has one front runner, and
Mm-hmm.
then 2 other front runners. And then, we got a few teams at the bottom. We got a whole bunch of cats right in the middle. It's just like a half price sale at Goodwill on the day before Christmas. Man, what's going on with that, brother?
Hey, it's a dogfight, man. Um, Again, we see it all the time. We've been seeing it that, again, any given time, any given team, any given game, and it's a dogfight. And um, I'm looking forward to some of these teams, like we talked about in the previous segment, in the previous post up, that's at the bottom end, that's kind of trying to raise themselves up a little bit to the top. But it's a dogfight. Lakeshore. You see Rocky Mountain look like they're taking over with the Frontier Division. I think
Mhm.
Beyond and Arch is going to kind of raise their play a little bit, hopefully, but you never know. Beast of the East, I see Got the Five is going to be there. Obviously, Run DMV making their mark.
True that.
With the Pacific Rim, any 3 of those teams can get hot and run away with it. From Bay Area, Best Coast, and Showtime, any one of those can get hot and run away with it. Right? I think they're going to be close. I think Pacific Rim is going to stay close all season long. Savannah, I do think Lone Star is going to run away with theirs eventually. I think
Mhm.
after Lone Star, though, I think 2, 3, and 4 is going to be a dogfight
You know
in
what,
that
Blaze? I'm
particular division.
Blaze. I'm gonna do something I ain't done since I met you, fam. I'm gonna
Uh oh.
do it. I'm gonna do it, and look. I'm gonna need you to talk me down now because I know you love me. But I'm gonna need you to talk me down on this one. I'm just gonna say this. It's gonna be straight up nasty. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the deal. And listen. I don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. All these teams in the middle are gonna keep eating on each other like the Walking Dead.
Hmm.
Like kind of like a jazzy race at a senior home. The teams on top just gonna pull away.
Hmm.
Teams on the bottom, they might kind of sneak up to the butt end of the pack. Speaking of number twos,
Right.
but I just, I'm telling you, the way these games are going down, all I see is a bunch of teams just gnawing on each other left and right, man, and that pack just going to get thick and thick and thicker while the front runners are just going to kind of let them beat each other up while they kind of pull away. And I didn't feel that way before. I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't feel that way the last segment, and you know that. You know this because I said
Yep.
what I
That's
said,
true.
right?
That's true.
But man, if every game is going to be knocked down, drag out till the power turn out, and Auntie Mama come back home with like Uncle Ruckus and start fighting in the middle of the wake, bruh, who gonna do something? Who gonna do something?
Yeah.
Because I don't see it, and I'm saying that I'm trying to say. I hope it's coming across. I'm hoping it's coming across the way I mean it. It's a compliment to the parity that you talked about in this league. It's a compliment to the talent that's in this league. The smart money
Hmm.
got out front early. And I think just because everybody else going to beat each other up, I think they're going to be able to stay there.
Mm. That's an interesting point, and you may be right about that. You may be right about that. I like that take. I love get these teams that got out to a good start. Let's just say they got a little more cushion for their pushing, and those who are in the rest of the league, if you didn't have that head start, you're in a dogfight already in May. It's May and you're in a dog. Just hey, we rocking to July. You know that, right? You're in a dogfight in May. So I think that cushion that a lot of these teams have afforded themselves in the top of their
Mhm.
division would
Mhm.
do them wonders. So when they hit their struggle bus, they can still have a little room to bounce back. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, you know what? And it's like, and oh, by the way, speaking that's coming up, we got 3 versus 1, Rain and Trays versus Rocky Mountain, a six and
Beautiful
six
game. It's gonna be a
versus a two,
beautiful
a
game.
six. You took the word. See, I'm gonna talk to management because I feel like I'm working with myself, except for you, pretty. But man, you took the words out my throat because I was gonna say this game's got to be good. A 6 and 6 and a
Mhm,
10 and 3 in Sim World, man, that's
mhm.
like Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed 9. They're just gonna go at it.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So and listen, across the table, I'm seeing people develop. I'm seeing games develop. There was a lot of additions to teams this week. A lot of people getting bigs,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna give Marsh a shout out. He is not a believer in the bigs. He's a believer in the individual game, the guys that can get their own shot. He and I completely disagree with that. But I still respect and understand his point of view in terms of the game as he sees it. I believe a total game starts from the 1 all the way to the 5, and depending on how you use it, but also I know in a lot of ways we are a product of how we learn the game. You know what I'm saying? So,
right,
let's face it. Let's face it. And I'm gonna say the Bulls did not have a true big, but they ran a different kind of offense for their particular game
correct.
that outletemastized, as my special teams coach would say, outletemastized everybody else, right? Well, yeah, he was a big, but he wasn't utilized in the same kind of way is what I'm talking about. So, and I'm talking to the voices in my head, y'all. So don't worry about it. I took my medicine. It's all good. But also that was at a time frame we started seeing bigs step out beyond the arc, no pun intended, shooting threes. The whole Vlade Divac, Dirk
Yeah,
Nowitzki.
there was a few. I think yeah, Dirk really bust that door wide open. I think
Yeah,
before then you had a few exceptions. Your Sam Perkins, your Glenn
yeah,
Robinsons.
yeah.
Uh, but other than that, it was a few here and there, but it wasn't something that was promoted for a big to do. And then you get a guy
But
like
can
Dirk
you?
who comes in 7 foot shooting jumpers, and it
But with
all
all
goes
due
downhill
respect,
from there.
Blaze, I love you, man. But with all due respect, can you count any big that went to Portland? Because anybody went to Portland, that's where bigs went to die, right? You know, you know,
Well,
you,
no,
you
no, you
know
have
that.
you have Sabonis was really
Okay,
good in Portland.
okay, okay,
You got
okay,
Aldridge.
okay,
Rasheed
okay.
Wallace got
Yeah,
traded to
okay.
Portland.
Yeah, yeah. Got
Um,
traded too. Wasn't drafted by.
he got
Got
no, he wasn't
traded
drafted.
to.
Sabonis was drafted by and Aldridge. So Aldridge and
Yeah.
Sabonis are
Okay.
your
Okay.
best your
Okay.
best
Okay.
options.
Straighten me out. Straighten me out. Because all I remember is I remember thinking if I was over step, yeah, okay, Cliff Robinson. But
No,
all I
Cliff
know it
Robinson
seemed like
he was a 4. He wasn't a 5 though. But yeah, Cliff
yeah,
Robinson
yeah.
got
But
drafted. He was a
okay.
4.
Look, look. Here's what I remember. I remember just thinking to
Sam
myself,
Bowie. you just
I'm
number 2 pick.
like I said, like I'm saying, all I remember is if you were over 7 foot tall and Portland drafted you, bye bye. Walmart's hiring. You can be a greeter. You can help get stuff off the high shelf. It's just what it's going to be. And
They had
God
some
bless. But
duds.
anyway,
Yes, they had some duds.
but here's the I don't blame the bigs. I don't blame the bigs. But that's a whole other story for another day. So I want some time for this next one because I really want to hear your side of this one. Okay. So speaking
Okay.
of bigs, and again, don't forget, we just talked about, trade, raining trades in Rocky Mountain coming up. That dude,
That dude.
every team has at least one guy, and sometimes a girl, because when I coached women's basketball, I had 3 on my team, that things didn't quite line up right in their frontal lobe, if you know what I'm trying to say. And and you were glad they were on your team when stuff
hmm
went sideways. So,
Yeah.
can you give us a story that's safe for work about one of your teams with that dude and something that they did?
Well, well, I can give you a story, maybe about not a team, but a real. I think you need that one guy in your life. That one dude who ain't wrapped quite too tight. You know what I mean? But you gave him
Mhm.
a freaking keychain ring in the third grade when nobody else wanted to, and he became your friend for life. Or that
Yep.
relative who you let play with your toys or whatever, and now you in his mind you're his best friend, but you know something's not really right with him. So yeah, so I
Mhm.
have a few stories like that about people, and one in particular I remember. I'm gonna do the long and short version of it. I was someplace I wasn't supposed to be,
Uh-oh.
and I remember my mom telling this friend, "Hey, don't let telling his friend, hey, don't let nothing happen to my son that don't happen to you first." so, and so I was
Mm.
somewhere I wasn't supposed to
Mm.
be, and I
Mm.
drugged my friend along with me, and let's just say some stuff popped off, and he looked, and I'm
Mm.
the one that started it initially, and he looked at
Of
me, and I
course.
said, hey, you need to go up there and take that from me. My mom said, don't let nothing happen to me. That don't happen to you first. You better come on.
Oh, that's wrong. You're wrong.
We all made it. We all made it out alive. I mean, he had a few
Yeah,
more
yeah, you
scratches
go.
than I did, but we're here to talk about the
There
story.
you go.
So you
There
need
you
one
go.
of those in your corner who just don't quite
Absolutely.
is not quite wrapped too tight. And I have a few of those.
You know what? I've had a few, but I'm gonna tell you about one in particular I play with. I'm gonna say his name too, Fred Bowler. He's still locked up in Colorado.
Damn.
In
Damn.
a 45-year bid. This guy was the kind of guy that if he thought the other coach looked at us wrong, would charge down the sideline, down the baseline to the other coach to act like the coach was going to take a charge from him and felt like he wanted to break. That's how unwound he was.
Mm,
We sometimes we'd have bench clearing brawls. We'd stop and
yeah.
be sitting down. He's still chasing the other team around with chairs and stuff, going,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Oh, thank you." So, Fred, I love you. I can't wait for you to get out. You're going to be about 72 years old,
I can
and
wait. I can wait for it. I can
and
wait for it.
we
I
can.
can't.
And
Yeah,
oh, by the way, what happened?
we call those the short bus buddies. Those are our
And oh,
short
by the
bus
way,
buddies.
and oh, by the way, Fred, it was FBI's fault. Don't worry about it. So here we go. We we got a game coming up. Trades Rocky Mountain. Just can't wait for you to check it out. Please give us a shout out. Let us know what else you want to hear on the post up. And I'm gonna tell you something. Everybody wants to play with their favorite golfers, right? Everybody, who's your dream foursome? Well, mine's gonna be Jason Bourne, John Wick, and Ahsoka Tano. Because by the time we get to the third hole, we gonna light your butts up. We see you next time.
Wow.
to Washington for the final game of our triple header. Rocky Mountain Monsters paying visit to the reigning Trays, where the Reign Asylum, a fever dream ode to the Seattle Sonics. Marsh joined by Siege. It's been quite a bit of travel here to get to Seattle. But Siege, we're in for a pretty raucous environment and an exciting game between the reigning Trays and the Monsters.
Absolutely, should be a great game. We've got some good guys to watch here. Obviously, Rocky Mountain is an all-around effort every time, highlighted by the likes of Ireland Early, Lucas Banks, and a whole crew of great players. On the other side, we've got Kevon Jackson, Japhett Towns. It should be a good matchup here. I'm going to give the edge to Rocky Mountain Monsters coming out. I just like the way they play the game, but we'll see what Reigning Trays has to say about that.
Japhett Towns, number 8 ranked player in SimWorld Hoops, the highest ranked player in this game, but it's Rocky Mountain, division leader, thanks to the fact they've got 5 ranked guys on this team. One of them comes off the bench. That's Kenneth Gaffney, Flagstaff, Arizona native. But Rocky Mountain does it based off of a group that you got a lot of different options. 4 different guys are scoring in double figures for this team. That's Ireland Early, Kenneth Gaffney, Justin Bell, Lucas Banks. They do it with a versatile approach and they get it done. Reigning Trays, meanwhile, middle of the pack season, they just haven't been able to string together a lot of wins. Towns, their leading scorer, is top 7 in SimWorld Hoops. What's the key to this game for Reigning Trays to pull an upset?
Well, I mean, first key is going to be, obviously, their stars are going to have to play a really good game to combat the Rocky Mountain Monsters team. That being Japhett Towns, Kevon Jackson, both of them are going to have great games tonight. Second of all, I think as a team, they're going to need to throw Rocky Mountain off of their game plan. Rocky Mountain is not an easy team to throw off of what they want to do because they play so well-rounded basketball. And you never know who's going to hurt you with this team, and that's what's hard to game plan around. But they're going to have to be prepared for anything. They're going to have to make adjustments on the fly. That's the big thing.
Lucas Banks, his first shot won't fall from the mid-range. Rebound for Jason Crosser, a 7'1" Seattle native. Crosser, leading rebounder here for the squad, 5.8 rebounds per game, but he's already got 2 buckets and an early 6-0 lead for the reigning Trays. Lucas Banks putting a little too much spice on it. Had the defender lost a footing. Doesn't take advantage. Here it's Ireland Early. Scoring one. Pull up 3. Gets that to go. Early, dangerous from deep. 34 made threes. Number 5 in SimWorld Hoops. 11 points per game on the season.
And Ireland Early, he's right up there with Trey Turner for one of the best shooters in this league. So you just saw the game Trey had, so he's gonna try to come back and show that he is also one of the best shooters.
Well, no slouches. Japhett Towns entered the game with 17 made threes, obviously a team high, as that mid-ranger won't fall from Daquan McDougal III. Operating on the other end. It's Cam Astra. He gets it to go. And a 10-3 start to this game for the reigning Trays, looking to make a statement against Rocky Mountain. Lucas Banks won't get that to fall. Rebound to Towns. In the corner's Astro. Big part of this. Not Astro. Trayvon Sherwood dishes it to Towns. Towns won't get it to go. Crosser can't pull in the boards. I stand corrected, it was Astro on the corner there. Ireland Early working up top over to Justin Bell. Screen there from McDougal, and Bell in for 2 points.
And we saw in that last possession, we saw Ireland Early matching up with Japhett Towns. Ireland Early, great 3-point shooter. As we know, he also is a very, very good defender, so let's see if he can be able to contain him at all.
Rocky Mountain wears a 5 straight games as they've turned their season around after looked like it was teetering. 3 straight losses, but they've responded. They They've done 5 wins in a row, followed by 3 losses. They've matched it with 5 wins in a row again. So sandwiching some long win streaks here for Rocky Mountain to the rack. Kavon Jackson gets 2. 12-5 reigning Trey's lead now early on as we've passed the midway point of the first quarter. Here's McDougal. Kicks it to Lucas Banks. Banks operating in the mid-range over Towns. Rattles that one home. Meanwhile, we want to check in there on reigning Treys. They've actually tried to string together 2 straight wins over Indy Stripes and Heartland Zombies. They come home after a 5-game road trip, so a welcome sight to get home. Justin Bell's 3 falls. 2-point game, Rocky Mountain on the run. A 5-game road streak, or road trip. They lost their first 3 to Latin America, H-Town, and Lakeshore Drive. Followed that up with a pair of wins. As they sit there currently at 6-6, 4th in the Arctic Division, but trailing Bad Boys in Europe. Europe won tonight. They get to 6-6. Bad Boys at 6-5. So Siege, we talked about it briefly in our last game in Miami as Jason Crosser heads to the line. We're approaching the just past the third of the way mark, 3rd point of the season, however you want to phrase that. And we're starting to see some things come together. But one of the things that's going to start being exciting to keep an eye on is playoff races. And of course, his top 8 teams from each conference will make the SimWorld playoffs run for 1, or race for 1. Middle of the road teams like the reigning Treys trying to put things together. What's going to be the key in games like this?
Well, when you're trying to put together a run and you're keeping the postseason in mind, really a win's a win. It doesn't matter who it's over. You got to get that record up. But in terms of getting those wins up, a big part of that is going to be confidence. It's going to be proving to themselves, not to anyone else, but to themselves, that we can play well enough to beat a really good team like Rocky Mountain. We can put together a game plan. We can perform against them. So a win like this would not only be, a great stature win. It would kind of put everyone on alert, but it would also, more so for them, give them kind of confidence going forward that, hey, we can beat anybody. So I think that's the big thing for them tonight. Can they get that confidence?
Confidence and also proof of being able to beat top teams, I think I talked about it on the podcast today on Gulf Coast Lockdown, who did get a win today. But beating teams that you are going to have to go through for reigning Treys, you look at lost to Originators, lost to Beasts of the East, lost to H-Town Hoopers. Those have been the teams that many would consider to be top teams in SimWorld Hoops. They have a 4th shot against Rocky Mountain to try to prove otherwise, but there's starting to be that delineation of who's the top teams and who are the teams that are kind of sitting on the outside edge of that. I think that top team list, and I'd love to hear your take on it, but I'd say that's maybe 7-8 teams that probably fall into that. And then there's a big swath of teams, reigning Treys included, sitting around 500, either a game above or below, and just haven't quite been able to get over and enter that upper echelon.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. They're not quite there yet. I think they've got the tools to get there. They've got to, like you said, get that proof that they can beat, a good team like this. But not just proof to the public, because when it comes down to it, whether you're a mid-range team or a top-range team, if you make the postseason, you got a chance. And so, really, I think proof is a big thing. I think that proving it to themselves is the biggest thing. So yeah, I mean, you gotta know you can beat a good team.
Reigning Treys leading by 5, in need of that big win, but there's 2 points inside. Monsters back within 3. Monsters trying to get their longest winning streak of the season. It will be 6 with a win here. It's Jason Cross. Statement dunk there. 20-15, under 30 seconds to play. Won't be able to hold for the last shot. That's dumped inside to Morty Washington, he'll go to the line. Washington, a beast of a kid, Texas native. I'm not sure what they feed him down there, but 6'9", 254. Washington off the bench, 4 boards, 5 points per game just about, but looks like he'd be more likely to be a defensive tackle than a big man.
Well, he's completely grass-fed down there in Texas. I hear that he actually goes grazing with the cattle out on the ranch. So that would explain why he is so large.
Certainly has plenty of opportunity for that down in Nederland, Texas. Far trip for him to get to home game somewhat for Rocky Mountain, based in the middle of the states. Hits the free throws, 20-17, 17 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Operating inside, there's Grayson Crosser on Washington, can't get it to go. Washington the board. Kicks it ahead. That's Ireland early, can hold for last shot. Looks like it's going to come from Washington. He heaves it, gets it to go at the buzzer. We think this went in. We're going to get our second review of the night. First one was deemed no good. We're going to head to the official review. Siege, any first takeaways? You think that got off in time?
I'm going to say it did because he was very excited about that.
Let's see. That looks good. There's the 0 point. I know you don't have the NBA zeros, but when that clock is, or when the ball stops, the screen stops, that's when the 0 mark is hit. That looks more than good. So I think this is going to be good. It should be 20-19 at the end of the first quarter. And they have deemed it a good basket, so that does it. 2 points for Rocky Mountain to close it out, thanks to Morty Washington. That ends our first quarter, 20-19 here in Seattle. Welcome back to the Pacific Northwest. The reigning Crays holding a 1-point lead over the Rocky Mountain Monsters, looking for their first signature win of the season. They're doing this 10-3 squad of Rocky Mountain as Maury Washington, who had the dramatic close to that quarter, 4 straight points for Rocky Mountain, including the buzzer beater. He misses, but it's Ireland Early doing the cleanup work, taking care of his big man. 2 points, 21-20 here as we kick off the second quarter. And a missed bucket chance to answer there from Nick Beal.
Ireland Early and Maury doing a little role reversal there. Maury taking the jumper and Ireland Early cleaning it up inside.
Early can't get that one to go. Early, one of the more dangerous three-point threats as we talked about earlier in this game. Kick out 3 will fall for the reigning Crays. That's 3 from Asher Benedict. 23-21. Reigning Crays will need a full team effort if they're to pull off this upset. Whoa, retro look there from Maury Washington. The Kareem skyhook ties this thing at 23 apiece. Here comes Beal. Oh, the step through on Ireland Early. 2 more. Nick Beal with his submission for a SimWorld Top 10 play. That's Booby Walker. Can't get that to fall from deep. Checking into the game is the Las Vegas, Nevada native. Go ahead there, Cinch.
Top 10 names in SimWorld. Probably top 5.
There's plenty of options out there. Would you like to go any higher than top 5?
You could make a case for top 3.
Well, if you were 13 years old, sure, but you know, some of us can mature with words.
All right, Mark.
Booby sounds like the type of dude that writes his name on a calculator, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, he can. We can't all write our names on calculators.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. 4 seconds to shoot here. That's going to be Jason Crosser. No, kick to Asher Benedict. Sir Asher Benedict can't get that to Walker kicks that to Kenneth Gaffney. 42nd ranked player in SimWorld Hoops, a member of his Rocky Mountain team a year ago. He lays that in. Back and forth affair continues here in the second quarter. That's going to bring a timeout. Reigning Crays taking their first of the game. 5:05 to play in the second quarter. Siege, instant takeaways so far from this game.
Maury Washington's playing like an animal inside. He might be another ranked player for this Rocky Mountain Monsters team if I personally could put together a ranking. Ireland Early, I do not.
You do not?
I don't look. What I do is what I do. But Maury Washington's making a case for himself to be up there in the ranking.
What that mean?
Marsh,
What that mean?
you do what you do. I do what I do. All right.
It doesn't answer much.
Look, Mark, I'm not here to give you the details of what I did today, but I will let you know that I had some crab rangoons earlier and they were delicious. That's what I did.
I thought I heard you puking on the plane over here.
No, don't you know that I did
I
that
think
to me?
your boy messed you up.
My boy did not mess me up.
Undercooked.
You were hallucinating. I know you didn't sleep last night, Marsh. I know you didn't sleep last night.
Why do you think I didn't sleep last night?
I don't know. You do what you do. That's my point.
Spying on me?
I just heard around the grapevine.
The thing is I'm very concerned on where you heard that because I, in fact, did not have a great night's sleep last night. So I'm very
I know. Look, I'm not going to tell you. There's no device, but just know that I do what I do, and part of that is I know that you didn't sleep last night.
Please don't do that. I'll tell you my friends. 27 apiece here, midway through the second quarter. Up to Justin Bell. Bell, the silky smooth finish and the step over the defender to finish it off. Leading scorer for Rocky Mountain adds 2 to his tally. Memphis, Tennessee native, making a long trip here for a team that's got a little bit of everybody on it. Florida, Lucas Banks, Bell out of Tennessee, Idaho, Zane Davis, a couple Arizonians, Ireland Early and Kenneth Gaffney. Rocky Mountain is certainly a melting pot of a roster.
All going up to the great state of Colorado.
Colorado in a nutshell, too. There's Bell. He's going to kick it over to Gaffney. Have to fire this one up as the shot clock expires. Won't get that to go. Rebound heads the opposite direction. For those wondering about out-of-town scores, 10-2 start to the game as a 3-ball falls from Cam Astro. Warriors on top of the Lakers in their sister conference, the NBA.
Kevon Looney already with 4 rebounds and 1 assist. He's arguably the greatest center to ever play the game.
Justin Bell, maybe making an argument for the best shooter. 32-32 with the corner 3 to fall.
And Justin Bell's been up in his game every game that I've seen him play so far this year. It seems like every game he gets a little bit better and continues to contribute to the success of Rocky Mountain Monste.
Now, I would agree with that because I think earlier in the season, and my rule has been made pretty well known, you need to have a guy that you can count on to score at the end of games. And I have always kind of believed that to be, as a timeout coming from Reigning Trays, I have always kind of led that to believe to be Ireland Early. But with the play of Justin Bell, I think that decision is changed. I think he is their #1 guy, and you think about him, you try to project him out, 6'6", 215, good defender, athletic and lengthy. His upside isn't just great to be the #1 guy on a team like Rocky Mountain, but also just to be a great future prospect as well.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got all of the physical attributes that could make a great player at the next level, and he's got the mind for it. He's got the gameplay for it. He's really got a lot of things you look for when you want to add a guy to your roster, and he's only going to continue to get better, we hope. So, like you said, I think he has taken over kind of that go-to guy spot, and to be honest, I think that allows Ireland Early to play a role that kind of fits him better. He's more of, come off screens, get the shot up, great shooter, great defender, but I don't know if Ireland Early really fits that #1 role well. I think he can do it, but I think he's going to be better off like that. It's going to be better for the success of this team. It's going to be better for Ireland Early's development.
Ireland Early, the play style warrants it, but a Klay Thompson type of role, I think, fits Early the best. You're going to shoot it, you're going to make it, you're going to play some good defense. Early at 6'5", 185, as the build as you try to think forward, give him another 2 inches. As Kenneth Gaffney, tough layup will fall. Ireland Early kind of fits in that, hey, if he gets left open, you start scrambling. But Justin Bell, I'm not saying Steph Curry, but just more of that isolation type of score that you do need as the 3 falls there from Towns, and Reigning Trace takes a 3-point lead. You're going to look at the stats. One last quick note. You look at the stats, say Justin Bell only averaging 12.3 points, but I think it's the rare occasion where you don't need to score a lot of points to know Justin Bell should be featured more prominently and considered a little bit more dangerous of a scorer.
Absolutely. I would agree with you. That's well said. Klay Thompson is quite the on-point comparison for the Ireland Early.
As the tough layup falls, Japhet Towns continues to put on a show here for Reigning Trays Early. 39-36, under 1 minute to play here in the first half. Monsters trying to get this thing close in a game that hasn't really been in control one way or another, but Reigning Trays just a slight advantage, it seems. Gaffney, though, he's turned over. That's now headed the opposite directions. Not even going to try to get Carlo's full name in quickly, but it's Kylo on the other end. Spinning layup gets it to fall. Charlamopoulos. That's a butchered name, Siege, but you did it in.
You did it well. You did it well.
No practice. Just went raw with that one. Here's Gaffney to the rack. Over the top of the switching over. Cam Astro gets that to fall. Last shot can be held here for Reigning Trays.
Reigning Trays continuing to really fight in this game. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really expect them to be in this game like they are, much more even be leading going into half. So great, props to them, playing a great game. Let's see if they can keep it up in the second half.
Towns can't get that one to go at the buzzer. And Astro getting a steal, unable to get a shot off. That ends our first half. It's Reigning Trace, the 500 team, trying to make their way back up their division. They're staring up at the Originators in the Arctic Division, but they've played well in the first half. A good night from Japhet Towns. Seemed whenever they needed an answer, he was there to provide it. And give that a 3-point lead for Reigning Trays, but Justin Bell has answered the call for Rocky Mountain in a competitive first half.
Great competitive first half, both teams knocking down shots. I think whoever's going to be able to kind of tighten up on defense here is going to have the edge going towards the end of the game.
Well, we'll get hopefully an exciting finish to what we've had of 3 competitive games, one of which, of course, we didn't get to finish too, but we'll get a finish here in Seattle. Second half coming up. Welcome back to the Pacific Northwest. Second half underway here. Reigning Trays looking to knock down the Rocky Mountain Monsters and end a winning streak for them at 5 games for a second time. Justin Bell gets the scoring going here in the second half for Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain, of course, began the season with 5 straight wins, 2 straight losses, followed by 5 straight wins, which takes us to today as the hoop drive there. Kevon Jackson for 2. 43-40. First half siege that seemed to kind of always be favoring Reigning Trays, even if they were not leading for all of it or even by wide margins. It just always felt like the scales were tilted towards the Reigning Trays.
Yeah, they kept the game kind of in their control, trying to come out here in the second half and keep the same narrative going. It's been Rocky Mountain Monsters kind of chasing the whole game, and Rocky Mountain Monsters are keeping themselves in range, so it's never over. But if it keeps going like this, the Trades are going to have control going into the fourth and going in towards the end of the game.
Lucas Banks hits that one, 45-42. 2 easy buckets for the Reigning Trays to kick things off, both layups inside, using the pick and roll to get it going. That's a kick, corner 3, rims around and in for Travion Sherwood, a stretch big out of Kenneck, Washington. Starting 5 here for Reigning Trays, but it's his 13th 3 of the game. Ties in for second on the team. Double comes here on Justin Bell, and he escapes it somehow for 2 more.
Great move, great footwork there by Bell. Just like we talked about earlier, he's got the capability of being that number 1 guy, and that's a number 1 guy move.
You want to talk about a number 1 guy, Japhet Towns is putting in his application. Number 8th ranked player in the country, looking just like it. Another 2 from Towns. The lead is up to 6 here in the third. Justin Bell pump fakes the 3, passes out of the double. Almost a turnover. It gets over to back to Bell, Ireland early the board. Kicks it to Bell, double comes again. 2 Ireland early in the corner, 6 seconds to shoot. They brought the double on Bell. And Zane Davis can't get the 3 to go. As Reigning Trays certainly selling out on a 3. Japhet Towns again.
Japhet Towns is a bucket and a half. Dude can score. Oh.
Well, if you want to talk about a man that could score, it's Justin Bell. 2 more emphatic points from Bell. But 2 does not equal 3, and the lead is still up to 6. And get him an ice bucket. He is on fire. Japhet Towns, 2 more. 8-point lead here for Reigning Trays. He has risen to the occasion in the first half of this third quarter.
Absolutely. He wants to keep this lead, and he knows all the things that we were talking about earlier about them getting kind of a signature win, all that confidence proven to themselves and everyone that they can beat a good team, and he's keeping that in mind as he's going off in this third quarter.
Here's Kevon Jackson. It's that Sherwood. Jason Crosser, Phoenix fadeaway. Dirk Nowitzki-esque. Justin Bell off the front rim. And this feels like a dangerous moment here for Rocky Mountain. 8-point deficit. Rocky Mountain has had no answers for the offensive attack for Reigning Trays, and 2 more for Japhet Towns. That'll get us a Rocky Mountain timeout, and that's a 10-point advantage. We will step aside with 4:05 to play in the third quarter. Back after this. Welcome back to Seattle. Reigning Trays, a 10-point lead thanks to a 10-point third quarter thus far from Japhet Towns. A perfect 2 for 2 5 for 5 rather from the floor. 2 other points in this one as a 3 falls there for Ireland early off the timeout. Only 2 other points. That came from Jason Prosser, and a dynamic first entrance to this third quarter here for the Reigning Trays. Kevon Jackson pull up 3 answers. Back to 10 points, and Reigning Trays looking to be up to the task as they ain't looked to get their first big win over a top team this season.
Be a big signature win for him.
Ireland early, trying to get a second 3, won't fall. Cross to the board. Up to Jackson. Brief screen, tries to get it, but nice pass! And the slam from Kevon Jackson as he took Lucas Banks off the dribble. 2 emphatic points from the Orlando native.
Ooh, and Rosser's been a difference maker here. He's got some buckets. He's been playing well inside. Some boards, good defense. I mean, he's looking like a real difference maker for this team.
And it really feels as if the Monsters have not had an answer for him. Japhet Towns, and here comes Kevon Jackson to the rack. 2 more. They have not been able to get any type of answer for this offensive avalanche here in the third quarter for Reigning Trays. Japhet Towns started it. He has not scored since that timeout. It's been Kevon Jackson, and here's a beautiful spin move from Lucas Banks.
That was pretty.
Here's Towns, 12-point advantage, 2:04 to play. In the third, gets the screen. ISO, Maury Washington, 3, won't fall, first miss of the quarter. But it's Jason Crosser there to pick up the damage. 7'1", the major height advantage to switch that screen.
Allowing second chance points is the worst way to come back from a deficit, so that one's not going to work there.
Here's Ireland early, trying to get a 3. Turns it down. Lucas Banks swinging around. Maybe that one beyond the arc. 3 to shoot, have to lay it in. Gets it to go, gets the foul to go on Kenneth Gaffney. No bucket. Heads to the line now to try to cut this thing back to within 12. In what has been a disastrous third quarter here for the Reigning Trays. I apologize. This is going to be an offensive foul on Kenneth Gaffney. So no free throws for the Rocky Mountain Monsters. Not see that offensive foul. I don't know if you saw that siege. Just Jason Prosper shoves Maury Washington out of the way. Here's Lucas Banks. Driving to the rack is Kenneth Gaffney. He is swatted away, though, by Kevon Jackson coming over.
The Monsters, it's not quite like them to look like they've got no game plan going on offense, and I don't know if we can contribute that to some great defense from Reigning Trays, or I don't know if they're a little jet lagged from the flight over here. I don't know what's going on, but they don't quite look like themselves on offense.
Well, here's the thing with Rocky Mountain. The games that they have lost, they have lost. And it's been big ones. If you want to look at their 3, we'll start it with a 12-point loss, or excuse me, a 30-point loss to Run DMV. Followed that up by a 12-point disappointing loss to Philadelphia, and then a 73-45 blowout to Gotham 5. So when they've won games, they've won big, and they've been efficient, but when they have lost, it has just been a completely overmatched squad. And this third quarter, the first half certainly wasn't, this third quarter has looked a little bit like that. 13-point edge here for Reigning Trays, under a minute to go.
Well, you talked about those win streaks, 5 wins, 3 losses, 5 wins. It's about time for that losing streak again.
Indeed it is. Misses there from Jason Crosser. The only good thing going for Rocky, or I should say the good thing going for Rocky Mountain is that they've been able to be much more consistent over the big picture, right? A lot of these teams that we've kind of seen be inconsistent sit at 500 because they can't ever string together any form of consistency. Rocky Mountain has done that, but not going that way as the 3 there ends up short. Chance here for Reigning Trays to end on a bucket. It's going to be Kevon Jackson. Won't fall. That ends the third, 69-56, and as Siege says, it's typically the first team to 69. Back for the third quarter after this. Welcome back, fourth quarter here in the Pacific Northwest. The reigning Trays on top by 13 over the Rocky Mountain Monsters, looking for a signature win, and they just might have it as Jason Crosser can't get that bunny to go. 10 seconds in, the first miss there for Jason Crosser of the frame. Justin Bell, going to work. Trying to get the layup, won't fall. Offensive rebound kicked out. That's a rebound headed the opposite direction for reigning Trays. See, what's the key here for Rocky Mountain to get back into this game and try to keep their 5-game winning streak alive?
I mean, first things first, you got to stop this offensive onslaught from reigning Trays. Second thing, I mentioned it earlier, but they don't look like they've got any kind of scheme going on offense, any kind of sets. That was a nice one. They had a little, come around off the screen, handoff. Beautiful. We haven't seen a whole lot of that from them in the second half. They got to get something going on offense, some kind of game plan, some plays, maybe some downspins, get Ireland early open, and they can't do that. That's going to be the first thing. You can't let guys blow by you and put the ball in the basket. That's a go get.
Yeah, here in the second half, it's been quite a bit of those wide open layups as Maury Washington gets an emphatic 2 points there. But they've gotten a lot of free runs. Jafet Towns, Jason Crosser, Kevon Jackson have kind of been rolling, and here's 2 more potentially. And yes, for Jason Crosser, a lot of free runs to the rim. Wide open, easy shots are quite easy to make.
I mean, Marsh, you and I could go out there and make some of these shots. So
I would hope so. Here's Justin Bell, corner 3, wide open, won't fall, and that's an equal part of this. Rocky Mountain has just not hit wide open threes that they've been given, and there is 2 more easy buckets from Nick Beal. 75-60, 15-point game here.
It's almost looking like Rocky Mountain's losing a little bit of hope here on defense. These buckets just look so easy. They've got wide open layups.
There's a 3 there from Lucas Banks, keeps us at 12. They're still within reach, 5:40 to play in the 4th quarter. But they'll need to start locking in a little bit on defense. Here's Crosser. Kicks it out after the double comes to Kevon Jackson and an answer. 78-63.
And I'm wondering if you're Rocky Mountain, who do you go to here? We talked about Justin Bell being the guy. Maury Washington's having a great game, but at this point, like, who do you go to say we need 15 points in 5 minutes? On defensive end, obviously, it's got to be everybody. You got to get stopped if you got any chance here. Or on offense, somebody's got to make a play, not just for themselves, but for the rest of his team.
It's Justin Bell, in my opinion. He's the guy that more so than anybody else can score on his own. You need to get downhill. They've been shooting a lot of threes, Rocky Mountain has been. And yeah, those get you back into a game, but they also spring momentum in the opposite direction when you're not making them. So for me, it's Justin Bell as they go to a small ball lineup here with Bell at the 4. You've got to get Bell going downhill as best you can.
Absolutely, use some of that side. He's a big body going downhill. He could get some easy buckets, but instead he'll take a step back.
Goes to the step back. It's Maury Washington trying to bump around. Looks like he might have had a shot.
Ooh.
Instead, kicks it out to Bell, who buries the 3. We're back to within 12.
Not over till it's over.
Still within reach for sure. 4:20 to play. Crosser working on Washington. He's been able to get quite any shot that he's wanted because of that size advantage at 7'1". Turns it down. It's going to be Nick Beal taking the last second 3. Won't get that. Washington on the board. Chance to pull within 10. Kick to Bell. Back to Banks. Bell, 3. Gets it to go. We're within 9 with 3:50 to play. This game is not yet done. Rocky Mountain has a shot at it. They'll need a couple more stops.
Like you said, he's the guy. He's taking that responsibility. It looks like he's showing that he knows he's that guy.
Well, Crosser, though, easily dumps that one in over the top of Zane Davis. Nearly a foot advantage there. Here's Bell. Trying to get to the paint. Top fadeaway layup. Justin Bell has been answering the call here from Rocky Mountain. And there is an easy 2 points. Kevon Jackson, yet again, you talked about it, Siege. Free runs for the lane. That has been a staple of the second half for the Reigning Trades. Here's Lucas Banks, in and out. Gets his own board. Tough layup, won't fall. That could be it here. Under 3 to play, 11-point game. A basket here for Reigning Trades, and they may steal the upset. Cam Astro over Washington, won't fall. Rebound. Kicked out to Ireland early. Haven't called his name much here in the second half. Trying to get some space. Tough layup.
That is not the shot you want there, Mark.
A bad offensive possession for the Rocky Mountain Monsters. Might seal it, just over 2 to play. Kevon Jackson, add his name to the tally. 2 more. Jackson answering when Japhet Towns has gone cold, or at least hasn't been featured nearly as much. And this is looking like a 3-headed monster right now, Siege, for Reigning Trades with Kevon Jackson, Jason Crosser, and Japhet Towns. One that should be taken seriously.
Absolutely. Like we said, right now they kind of look like middle of the pack. This game, I think, can show everybody that maybe they should think of them a little bit higher than middle. Not quite up there with the top teams yet, but showing that they can get it done against those top teams. Maybe they can find their way up there. And, that's just tough. That layup's just tough. We talked all second half about these open lanes to the basket, and that was great defense. didn't give him that open lane. Somehow he put it up and put it in anyway. So, I mean, this has been a great night for Seattle. Great night for the reigning Trays. Rocky Mountain, not so much.
Rocky Mountain with the assumptive loss here. They'll fall to 10-4, but they'll still sit now tied for second place in the division, or excuse me, in the conference. The Originators, who kicked off our night against Indy Stripes, will be sitting still at 9-2 because that game did not finish. But the player of the game, Siege, I have a feeling where you got three guys you can go to, but who are you going with for your player of the game?
My player of the game, give me Mason Crosser. Fed Towns came out here and balled in the second half. Jason Crosser's been a consistent kind of giver all game. Got some buckets, good, great defense, great rebounding. I'm going to give it to Jason.
I said you have three names. I'm not at all surprised. I think there's the argument for him, Jafet Towns, and Kevon Jackson. They each played exceptionally well in a game that Reigning Trays needed, but showcased that they have three guys that just might be getting a little underrated right now in terms of where they are at as a potential contender.
Absolutely, and like we said, this game was big for them and proof to the whole league, proof to themselves. They're not just proving they can beat a good team, they're proving that they have a big three here. They got a three-headed monster who can really get it all done on both sides of the ball.
Well, this should do it. It's all but counting at this point. 84-73. Reigning Trays are going to walk out of this one with a win. That will be their third straight win on the season after beating Indy and Heartland. They kick off a three-game homestand with a much-needed victory. They'll improve now to 7-6. That should move them into second place in the Arctic Division. Again, chasing down the Originators, who will finish that game against the Indy Stripes at a later date. Turn over there, heads the opposite direction, but a great night of basketball, 2.5 games we can call it. Don't forget tomorrow night, we've got another doubleheader, the North and Lakeshore Drive, and then an exciting one in Houston, the H-Town Hoopers and the Bay Area Breakers, a pair of division leaders in a big one. Let's get your pick on that one real quick, Siege. Bay Area or H-Town?
You know, we talked in the last broadcast we did with H-Town. They've got a powerful duo inside. You know who else has a powerful duo inside? Bay Area Breakers. That's a tough game to pick. You said it was in H-Town. Give me the home squad. I'm taking H-Town in that one.
I will take Bay Area, but it's Reigning Trays taking the win here. 86-73 is our final. For my partner, Siege, our producer, Roniel. Appreciate you all joining us here on SimWorld TV. We'll be back tomorrow night with a doubleheader of SimWorld action.
On behalf of SimWorld Hoops, good night, and thank you for coming out.